I called it yesterday morning. I called it, and I'm sure other people did as well. About 4:15 this morning, Senate Republicans, in a vote of 50 to 49, confirmed Donald Trump's personal attorney, Todd Blanche, to be the Attorney General of the United States.
49, the motion is agreed to. The clerk will report the nomination.
Nomination, Department of Justice, Todd Blanche of Florida to be Attorney General.
The question occurs on the nomination. Is there a sufficient second? There appears to be. The clerk will call the roll.
A shameful and lamentable day in American history. Every single Senate Republican is complicit in a cover-up of the Epstein Files, in protecting human traffickers and denying Epstein survivors justice.
It's a very chilling message that they are sending across the country and to the survivors that are in their very district. It's telling them that at the end of the day, that they will not vote for them, they will not fight for them, and they will not hear them. We have been spending the past couple of weeks, since before his hearing, knocking on the doors, dropping off files, dropping off books, calling our senators all day today. We've been on the phone, trying to get on the phone with them, for them to hear us, and no answer. And so it's a very chilling message. I think the country really needs to pay attention to every single senator that votes yes for Todd Blanche, and they need to keep that in mind when they're headed to the polls.
Survivors have spent a tremendous amount of time on Capitol Hill trying to connect with and reach Republican senators to urge them not to vote for Todd Blanche, to stand on the side of justice, to stand on the side of the survivors, to stand on the right side of history. And those requests largely fell on deaf ears.
I want to meet not with the attorneys, but with the survivors.
We would love that.
And have a discussion about
Yes.
this stuff. My office is right around the corner.
Okay.
If you go right in this first door here, I got a motion. I'm trying to meet those that are graduates on the floor.
Okay.
But I want to have that meeting.
We would love
but I
that.
don't want suits in the room.
Yeah.
Now, that was Tom Tillis. He and Bill Cassidy initially acted like they weren't going to support Todd Blanche for Attorney General. They were concerned about the 1776 slush fund, right? $1.776 billion of taxpayer money going to purchase the loyalty, the utilization of January 6ers, right? And, they weren't so concerned about Todd Blanche securing Donald Trump and his sons protection from being investigated for potential tax crimes by the IRS. They were concerned about this 1776 slush fund. And so they acted like they were holdouts. But this is what happens with Republicans over and over. There's like a little bit of posturing, especially from Senate Republicans, like they are concerned and they don't want to go along with what Daddy Donald wants. And I would argue that in the case of Cassidy and Tillis, maybe there was a little bit of sincerity about wanting to fuck over Trump because he fucked them over, right? But really what you're seeing is these guys are positioning themselves. These guys are leveraging something behind the scenes. They want to have that one-on-one. They want to be courted. There's something that they want. And yesterday, all of the news was around Bill Cassidy ultimately folding, ultimately capitulating after he had apparently this private meeting. And let me play you the clip first and then tell you what I think is actually going on here, because there's been a huge amount of speculation all over social media. Everybody's talking about, why did Bill Cassidy fold? Donald Trump cost him his career in the Senate. Why did he fold on this issue?
Mr. Blanche is not perfect, and he will tell you this.
He's corrupt.
But the choice is not
crimes.
between perfection and Mr. Blanche. It is between Mr. Blanche and another acting attorney general who may not run the department effectively under President Trump, and who indeed may not be as good as Mr. Blanche. This puts at risk the progress made fighting violent crime, human and drug trafficking, and fraud. And this does not serve the American people well. This is not a referendum on President Trump. It is a decision regarding Mr. Blanche in very specific circumstances. All considered, I will vote for Mr. Blanche. I'll be criticized for this vote. What's new? But the people of Louisiana can be assured But I worked hard to understand the issue and to make the right decision.
Wow, Bill, that really looked like some white woman tears there at the end. Was your conscience pricking you a little bit? Is that what was happening? The audacity to say that the United States needs Todd Blanche as an attorney general so that human traffickers can be investigated. Todd Blanche is the architect of the Epstein cover-up. Todd Blanche is denying Epstein survivors justice. Todd Blanche is protecting child predators. And you, Bill Cassidy, said that in public. You had the audacity to say that without Todd Blanche as AG, human traffickers will not be prosecuted in the United States. Lest we not forget, it was working behind the scenes of the Trump administration, the DOJ, that brought the Tate brothers back from Europe, right? Okay, we know what this regime are. They're a bunch of PDF files and PDF file protectors. They're a bunch of human traffickers, a bunch of rapists, and they're all being protected by Todd Blanche and the Department of Injustice. Okay, so people watched this yesterday where Cassidy got really choked up and they're like, what happened? Why did he change his vote up? I don't think he ever changed his vote up. I think he had every intention of voting for Todd Blanche the entire time. Folks said, well, he must have gotten threatened with violence. Why is it that Republicans always fall in line? All of them always fall in line, except for, Thomas Massie, and it's cost him his job. But that doesn't matter because he's going to go form a new political party with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson. Watch out for that. So yesterday when people were discussing this and folks were like, was he threatened with violence? Was his family threatened with violence? And it wouldn't be like directly from Todd Blanche, right? What Donald Trump is really good at doing is riling up his base. He's done it against judges. He's done it against prosecutors. He weaponizes his violent extremist base of insurrectionists, of chuddies, of Proud Boys to go and commit violent crimes. Right, this is why I got lots of death threats after Charlie Kirk was killed, and so did so many other creators. These are people who are ready to pop off and commit violence, and Donald Trump knows how to leverage them with his messaging. But I don't think that that is what happened here. I think that it was about money. It was about money. With Republicans, it's always about their own wealth and profit and security and influence and wealth and wealth and wealth. If you want to understand what I mean, I think that this clip really illustrates exactly what is going on with Republicans and Donald Trump and why they always fold like a chair, why they always capitulate and do the bidding of dear leader.
I don't want to be too speculative because I have not done a lot of reporting around the impetus for Bill Cassidy's decision making, but without betraying my source agreement, I spent a lot of time with an outgoing lawmaker 2 years ago when Trump had just won and this person was finishing out their term. I shadowed them and I wondered, we spent quite a bit of time together. I wondered why this person did not speak out in during their lame duck status. And I was told very directly and frankly by one of their aides that they wanted to make money. They needed to make money. They hadn't made money throughout their career and that they needed to get put on some corporate board, some business-friendly entity, and that their livelihood and their family's ability to have a source of income was dependent on that. And if they criticized Trump, that would make them persona non grata and unhirable.
It's money. They want money. They want a lucrative job being on the board of some corporation, or they want to be able to have a future in lobbying, right? They want money. They want to continue to live in the lifestyle to which they have become accustomed. Now, I'm sure by the time you have gotten this far in the video that you're likely saying, well, Angela, early on you said that all of the Republicans in the Senate are complicit. But Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, they voted no. They voted not to confirm. So aren't they blameless? Shouldn't their constituents be like, oh, you ladies are two of the good ones? So Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins have been playing this game for decades. They only vote against Donald Trump as a performative measure when they know that his agenda has the votes to pass. Collins and Murkowski are trying to hoodwink their independent voters, their voters who don't like Todd Blanche and want justice for Epstein's survivors. They're playing the same old game, and we've got to stop believing it. I called this confirmation yesterday when Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski announced that they would not be voting for Todd Blanche. I was like, oh, now we know Todd Blanche has the votes. He's got the votes locked up and he's going to get confirmed. Every Republican is complicit.